Hi there, I'm Shanez and welcome to English Techniques. Today I shall be tackling basic information about the Ielts test. This video is for the benefit of those who still have no idea about how the Ielts test works. So, in general terms, I shall be discussing the academic and general training modules, the listening, reading, writing, and speaking tests, as well as a scoring system to help candidates understand their English proficiency levels as revealed by their Ielts test results. More specific details regarding these aspects shall be discussed in future videos. So, let's get started. Ielts is also known as the International English Language Testing System. The Ielts exam is a standardized test designed to measure the English proficiency levels of non-native English language users. This test is a requirement for migration, professional registration, and higher education by English-speaking countries. Among these countries are Canada, the US, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, and the UK. Ielts test results are valid for 2 years. It is highly recommended that candidates utilize their test results within 2 years. Beyond that period, these test results will be considered void or invalid even if target scores are met. The Ielts has 2 test types: the academic test and the general training test. The academic test. The academic test is for candidates applying for higher education in university and for those applying for professional registration in a country where English is the first language. Candidates who take the academic test have plans to pursue college, master's, and doctorate degrees in English-speaking countries. This test type may be required for certain jobs that need professional registration. Nurses, doctors, medical technologists, teachers, and engineers are among those who take the academic test. The general training test. The general training test is for candidates who have plans to pursue secondary education, work experience, or training programs in countries where English is used as the first language. It is also an immigration requirement for some countries. Candidates who take the general training test are usually those who have plans to migrate to an English-speaking country. This test type is also accepted by educational institutions that offer certain courses, as well as companies that offer work opportunities. The Ielts test is divided into 4 subtests: the listening test, the reading test, the writing test, and the speaking test. The listening test. The listening test is a 40-item exam common to both academic and general training candidates that involve conversations and monologues recorded in the English language. Test duration is approximately 40 minutes. The reading test. The reading test has 2 test types, both of which have a time limit of 60 minutes or 1 hour. One of these test types is the academic test. The academic reading test is a 40-item test that covers 3 academic passages derived from academic materials such as books, journals, magazines, and newspapers. The other type is the general training test. The general training reading test is a 40-item test that covers relatively shorter articles lifted from advertisements, magazines, posters, guidelines, and newspapers. The writing test. The writing test has 2 test types as well, both of which have to be completed within 60 minutes or 1 hour. The academic writing test involves 2 essays. Academic Task 1 involves the description of a graph, chart, table, process, or map. Academic Task 2 is an academic or formal essay in response to a question which requires a candidate's opinion, reasons, arguments, and justification regarding a particular topic. The general training writing test also involves 2 essays. General Training Task 1 requires the candidate to write a letter in response to a certain situation. General Training Task 2 is an essay in response to a question which requires a candidate's opinion, reasons, arguments, and justification regarding a particular topic. The speaking test. The speaking test is common to both academic and general training candidates that involves a face-to-face interview with an English-speaking examiner. The test, which is recorded, is divided into 3 parts and is completed within 12 to 15 minutes. Ielts band scores. The Ielts scores are based on a band scale ranging from 0 to 9, which reflect a candidate's English proficiency level. 0. Did not attempt the test. No accessible information provided. 1. Non-user. Essentially has no ability to use the language beyond possibly a few isolated words. 2. Intermittent user. No real communication is possible except for the most basic information, using isolated words or short formulae in familiar situations and to meet immediate needs. Has great difficulty understanding spoken and written English. 3. Extremely limited user. Conveys and understands only general meaning in very familiar situations. Frequent breakdowns in communication occur. 4. Limited user. Basic competence is limited to familiar situations. Has frequent problems in understanding and expression. Is not able to use complex language. 5. Modest user. Has partial command of the language, coping with overall meaning in most situations, though is likely to make many mistakes. Should be able to handle basic communication in own field. 6. Competent user. Has generally effective command of the language despite some inaccuracies, inappropriacies, and misunderstandings. Can use and understand fairly complex language, particularly in familiar situations. 7. Good user. Has operational command of the language, though with occasional inaccuracies, inappropriacies, and misunderstandings in some situations. Generally handles complex language well and understands detailed reasoning. 8. Very good user. Has fully operational command of the language with only occasional unsystematic inaccuracies and inappropriacies. Misunderstandings may occur in unfamiliar situations. Handles complex, detailed argumentation well. 9. Expert user. Has fully operational command of the language, appropriate, accurate, and fluent with complete understanding.
I hope these bits of general information will prepare you for our more detailed discussions in our upcoming episodes. In our next video, I shall be answering commonly asked questions about the general aspects of the Ielts test. If you have any questions, please comment down below or send your queries to my email account, details of which can be found in the description box. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Till my next one, thank you for watching.